Hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome back. Thanks for popping in. I got a quick little video for you. Just want to update you guys about a few things. I am trying to put together a schedule of videos that I'm going to do. So like, let's say, I don't know, this is just an example. Like every Friday, it's a certain type of video. Every Wednesday is a certain type of video, or every Monday is a certain type of video or something like that. So I have like, I don't know, like 3 different videos coming out a week. So I'm working on a schedule to do that. And trying to decide what I want to do. I don't want to just say I'm going to do a bunch of stuff and then not do it. So I'm trying to make that happen. And so that's in the works, just letting you know. And yeah, anyway, so I figured what I do right now is something that I was thinking about doing was giving kind of more regular updates on what I've been reading. So let's say once a week, maybe just a couple of the books I've been reading or what I'm currently reading, things like that. So I have a lot that I've read. I haven't done an update on everything I've read in a while, since like, I don't know, August maybe. So it's been a couple months, and over here is everything I've read since then. So I was just going to show you guys really briefly, let you know if I like it, don't like it, what have you. So let's do that real quick, and then keep an eye out. I'll kind of announce the schedule and keep an eye out for what's coming out on a regular basis, so that, you know, it's not just willy-nilly random once every 2 week videos kind of thing. So yeah, I don't know, just thought that'd be a nice way to do things. Any suggestions or ideas, feel free, let me know. I'm happy to, you know, take everything into consideration. So all right, here's no particular order here. I'm just going to grab them. They've all been on a shelf. I may have in the last video had a couple of these that I already read. I don't know. I try to keep them all separate. So, but just in case, I may have screwed it up. I don't know. I am currently reading Apocalypse Z, The Beginning of the End. This is the first one. I know there's at least 3 of this series, and it is by Manel Loriero. And it's a translated novel. I think it's originally from, I think he's like Brazilian or something, or I'm trying to see if it says on the inside cover. I don't see it. But anyways, it's a zombie book. I love zombie books. It's really good. I'm about halfway through, somewhere in there. So I'm really enjoying it. And I'm planning on doing a video of my top favorite zombie books here shortly. So I've been reading a lot of zombie stuff just to add more to the list. Just recently finished Clickers by it's JF Gonzalez and Mark Williams. And this one is the first in a series also. There's at least 4 that I know of. I own, I think, all 4 of those, but there may be more after that. JF Gonzalez, I believe, died 2014, I want to say, something like that. And so the series was taken over by Brian Keene, and then I think other people have jumped in there as well. So, but this one was super fun. It was like an old school 80s, 90s horror, where there's just like a monster, you know, like a monster horror type thing, where it's just these giant crabs that are invading, and it's awesome. So I really enjoyed that one. Definitely worth a read if you're into that kind of stuff. Stinger by Robert McCammon. This one I'm going to try to do a little more elaborate review on at some point. I'm also planning on binge watching the show Teacup, which is supposedly based on this book. So I read this. I'm going to watch the show, and then I can give some insight into both. So that'll be coming up shortly. I enjoyed it, though, at least, I'll tell you that. Probably one of my favorite books I've read in a really long time. Stephen King's On Writing. I just, for the first time, started writing, trying to write something out, and I've always wanted to write. I've always had ideas to write, and, you know, I'm getting old now, and I've never actually done it. So, I don't know, one day I was like, okay, I'm just going to try to write out what's in my head and put it in a short story form. Why not? Just go for it. And I just started writing, and I loved it. It was so fun to write, and I want to keep doing it. I really enjoy it. So I don't know if I'm any good, but I really enjoy it. So it's just fun and kind of cathartic to I don't know, get what's in my head out at least onto paper, and not just have all these ideas that are just jumbled about, and like, man, you really should write these someday, and just kind of feeling like failing at not actually doing it, you know. So this was super helpful. I read it after I started doing that. I've written like, I started that as a short story, and I've written probably, I don't know, I'm at almost 20,000 words into the story now. So it's like got like 6 parts or what have you. And then I've also started writing 2 other stories that are, I don't know if they're going to be shorts or if they're going to be little novellas or what. But I started this one after those things. And so I'm going to, I don't know, I'm just going to continue trying to learn new stuff about writing and implement it as I go along. So it might be interesting. Those stories may have like, I don't know, a level where you see it's like progressively changing as it goes along. Who knows? Whatever. It's just fun to do, so I'm going to do it. Okay. Well, since these are sitting right here, I might as well. So Dark Tower 6 was Song of Susanna that I read a while, I think in the summer. And then this one I also read, which is actually 4.5, I believe. So it goes between, I think it's 4.5. Yeah, so it goes between Wizard and Glass and Wolves of the Kaya. And I actually read this one after. I didn't realize it was 4.5, which is okay because you can kind of read it and it doesn't really matter. I mean, it kind of talks a little bit about things that have happened, but it's not that big a deal. So I read that one out of order, but this is Wind Through the Keyhole. And this is like an exclusive limited edition, so it's pretty cool. So that one was, it was okay. It wasn't anything special, really. I could have done without it, I think. And then I finally finished the whole Dark Tower series, Dark Tower 7. Finally, this one took me a while, but it's so good. Really good. Even though I'm not much of a fantasy guy, this is probably the extent of my fantasy reading. Has some great illustrations throughout here. Unfortunately, I don't have the dust jacket for it, so I only have this, and hopefully someday I'll get, a nicer looking one. So I finished Dark Tower. Okay, I don't know why I did a little dance, but I did. Yep, I did. That's right. I did. Okay, I also read Anubis Stone by Josh Dean. Josh is one of the viewers on here and has written at least 3 or so stories, I believe. Forget. I looked on Amazon and there's a couple of them on there, and I think it says in the back here. I'm trying to quickly glance. Yes, The Yellow Globe, House of Vampires, Count Ivan Vampire. So a total of 4 that I know of. And I think this is geared towards a little bit more towards YA. I think it said in the beginning, if I remember correctly. It is a novella, and it was interesting. It wasn't my type of story, but it was enough for me to know what was going on and be into it. It's just a little out of my realm, so but definitely worth the time to read it. So. I also read Haley Piper's Cranberry Cove, and this one is signed, and that one just can go away. Tales of Hip Hop Horror, Thug Death. This is by Age Scott and Raina Young. This one is just a kind of independently produced little short story collection having to do with street type, ghetto type themed things. Unfortunately, this one has a lot of errors. It has tons of editing errors, tons of misspelled words. So it really, it's cheesy to begin with, but it really takes you out of the story because there's so many things spelled wrong. So that one was a little bit hard to read, but it was an easy read. Otherwise, I got through it, no problem. I think I read it in one night. And then I read also This is why I edit a lot. Maybe I'm gonna leave all this in, but this is why I edit a lot, because I fumble like terribly over my words often. Come Closer by Sarah Gran. And this one was kind of cool. I'm trying to remember. Sort of remember a little bit about it. I remember it being okay and not like it. I remember having like a creepiness to it, which was kind of cool. But I don't know. I'm not a big fan of like demonic possession type stuff. So to me, those stories, I don't know. I'm not interested in them. So when it's a demonic possession story, it's just kind of like, eh. So I also read Maeve Fly, CJ Lead. This one starts out really rough, and is just like man-hating, bashing men. Men are useless sacks of nothingness that we could totally do without, kind of thing. And then it sort of gets past that, and then it dies off a little bit. Like it was really strong at the beginning, and then it kind of just gets sprinkled in throughout. So that makes it a little bit rough read. I mean, it was a good book, but I'm pretty tired of like all that woke crap that's been going on, and that garbage of just constantly like bashing everything that doesn't agree with you kind of stuff, and it really is obnoxious. So I don't want to read it. I want to enjoy my reading, not hear about everything that's going on in the world right now. It's annoying, and it's not really worth my time. So I disagree with a lot of the crap that's going on, and I disagree with a lot of people's opinions on stuff, and that's okay. I don't need it shoved down my throat more while I'm reading a book that's supposed to be a horror book or something like that, not a commentary on the current world situation. Guess what? I'll probably edit all that up. Okay, so I also read Edward Lee's Creakers, and this one is pretty darn good. It is chock full of a lot of inappropriate stuff, but it's a good read. It has a good story. Edward Lee's obviously a good writer, and it was just an enjoyable one. I wasn't bored with it. I wasn't, wanting to get it over with or anything like that. It was just a good, solid read. Also, probably one of my favorite ones I've read in a long time, Black Farm by Elias Withrow. This is really good. Super good. It's an extreme horror, so be warned if you're, sensitive to extreme horror type stuff. This one is an extreme horror. There's very, very nasty things in it, but it all serves a purpose, and it has a reason as to why it's happening, and it also fits and goes. It makes sense as it goes along. It's not just shock garbage thrown into just cause. It's not like, here, let me just write the nastiest, most vile things I can think of in order to shock you, and then call myself an extreme horror writer. It's actually a well thought out book, and it's very, it has a great story that you're engaged in the whole time. So that one I loved. Christopher Triana, The Old Lady. This one's pretty good. It's kind of like a survival horror. It was different than some of his other ones. It was fun and well written, as most of his stuff is. I enjoyed it, and I'd recommend it to anybody wanting to read horror, but not like extreme horror. It's just kind of like a survival, like running from a, like running from a psychopath kind of survival story type thing. Um, Toxic Love. My first Christopher Triana that I hated. I would not recommend this to anyone. It was terrible and was vile and felt like a lot of the garbage that is put out today, where it's just shock value, shocking stuff for the sake of trying to shock kind of people, just here, let me put, what's the grossest thing I can think of, let me put it in here. And cool, the idea and the story I thought was going to be really good. And I quickly read the synopsis and I thought, oh, that's awesome. Like, he's like the main guy's like a crime scene cleanup guy. And I was like, oh, dude, that's like a freaking perfect scenario for like a horror story, like something happening and, you're caught in the middle of something or whatever. And basically all it is there's a crime scene cleanup girl and they hook up at all the crime scenes and do the nastiest things you could think of. So there, that I just ruined the whole story for you. You don't need to read it. Good, because you probably shouldn't anyway. You need Jesus. Okay. The Girl with All the Gifts. Really good story. I really like this one. My daughter is still working on it, and I feel like I've talked about this before. Maybe I have. Fine, whatever. I thought it was super enjoyable. It has a kind of a neat twist on zombie stuff, and was just engaging. I think there's a book that comes. I think there's a Boy with All the Gifts or something that's after this. I haven't read that yet. Need to. I'm gonna try and grab that. I read Stephen King's The Dead Zone, and this one was okay. I love Stephen King, but this one was kind of like, I don't know, it was just didn't grip me like some of his other ones. It was good, but it wasn't, I don't know, it wasn't as good as many of his other books. So ZC1, this is Zombie Castle series by Chris Harris. I have ZC 1 through 4, but honestly I'm gonna have a hard time reading 2 through 4. This one was pretty rough, pretty boring, and I think it's written in like from someone who's British, so a lot of the stuff that's said in here, yeah, it's UK, I think, writer. So a lot of it is saying phrases and things and talking about stuff and using things I'm not familiar with. So it was really like, what the heck is that? What do you mean that? But this one was good, but it wasn't anything special. It was just, I don't know, a zombie story that is like something I would write. I don't know. It was just like, which is what I'm writing right now, a zombie story. So then I also read Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, not Mary Frankenstein, or the modern Prometheus. And this is enjoyable. It was a really good book. I felt it was very flowery, very floral. It was very like poetic language and very, I don't know, just Shakespearean in a way. I don't know. That's obviously, it was written at a long time ago, and so the speech and language is going to be different. That didn't ruin it or anything. It just was. And I thought it was really cool. There was some strange aspects of it, but all in all, it was good. It's nothing like really like the Frankenstein movies you'd see. So, but it was enjoyable. I liked it. So, is it the best science fiction book of all time? No. Debate over. Just kidding. I don't think so. I don't think it's the best science fiction book of all time, but it was very good. Okay. One of my favorite zombie series that I've read ever is this Chaos. I don't know if it's the Chaos Theory. It's the Theory series. I don't know. By Rich Restucci. This is so good. Chaos theory, conspiracy theory, conversion theory, and contagion theory. And a while back I read his other books, his other book, the Run series. And what's really cool is I didn't realize, but this crosses over into the Run series, and the Run series crosses over. So as you're reading, I think it's book 3, you start seeing characters from the Run series, and it's just, that's kind of cool to me. So well thought out. That is an enjoyable, funny, like I was actually like kind of chuckling sometimes out loud at some of the jokes that were made. Obviously they're dad jokes because I'm a dork and I like dad jokes. So most people probably think it was corny, but I thought it was funny. So I enjoyed it. Rich, thank you. Okay, Neil Gaiman's Coraline. This is a cool little creepy book. I liked it. I actually don't think I've ever seen the movie. So my daughter was talking about it, and I was like, oh, well, then I should read it. I've wanted to read something by Neil Gaiman before. I never have, so this was a first. And I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was a good read. I'm really trying to go fast here because I have a lot. Sorry. I haven't even got to the paperbacks yet. All right, The Ritual by Adam Neville. This one was pretty good, too. I feel like at some point... I'm trying to remember. I feel like at some point it turned and shifted and went a different direction a little bit than I was expecting. I think it was a well-written book, and it had a kind of an eerie theme to it that I liked. I don't think it was horribly horrific or terribly scary, but just good creepiness to it. Bludgeon Tools. This is a short story collection, and it contains stories from Triana and let's see, from Triana, Brian Keene, Wrath James White. Who else do I know in there? Matt Shaw, people like that. So there's a bunch there. I would say for the most part, it's really good. There was a couple stories I was like, eh. One was like really stupid. I can't remember the name of which one it was or what author it was. But the rest were pretty darn good. There's one, they all have to do with like smashing or breaking or bludgeoning or things like that. And one was like something about like somebody's tools on a job site, like killing people. It was, I don't know, but that one was really cool. That was one of my favorite ones. So that was good. Tim Curran's Grimweave. This one's really cool too. It's like a creepy monster story. It almost reminded me of Predator, the movie Predator, and it kind of had that same feel to it. They're in a jungle. They're like being attacked by some monster they can't find and things like that. And it was actually a really enjoyable story. So if you like Tim Curran's stuff, I would recommend this one. If you like creepy monster stuff, it's a good one. The Detained by Christopher Triana. This one was pretty good too. It's different. It's about these students that go to like a high school reunion, but it's it's not really a high school reunion. It's kind of a trap, and they're stuck there in the gymnasium or whatever and have to figure out what's going on. And that was pretty good. It's a little supernatural story, so it's fun. I don't know, does that ruin it? Should I not say that? I don't know, whatever, who cares. Spoiler alert. Okay. The Visible Filth. This is by Nathan Bollingrud, and this one was pretty cool too. I felt like it needed more though. So I felt like I was kind of like, oh, that's it. But this one was good. Creepy, and not particularly like horrific or anything, or scary or anything like that, but it was just kind of had that creepy vibe to it, and I like that. So opposite of cozy horror. I don't know what cozy, I don't know, just joking. But let's see, Richard Chismar's Monsters and Other Stories. It's a little chapbook. This one's signed. Good little read, just some short stories and stuff like that. And wow, I cannot flip the pages. There we go. And it was good. It was fun read. I think there's like 6 or 7 short stories in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 stories. And then there's like a introduction and afterword by Edward Bryant and someone else. So then I also read this chapbook by William Nolan, And this is Blood Sky. This one is good. It had an introduction by Lansdale in it. This one is also signed by Nolan and Lansdale. That one's pretty cool. Ray Garton, Where's Bobo and Glory Hole. So there's 2 stories in here. There's the Glory Hole one, and there is Where's Bobo. This one's signed by Ray Garton. This one was cool. Glory Hole, at least, was my favorite one out of here. Mostly because this takes place on the highway, on like Highway 99, or where is it, 99 or 5, one of the two. I don't know. Anyways, where it was, I know exactly where it is, and it takes place at a rest stop that I've stopped at a bunch of times on my way over there. So it kind of, I could really like mentally picture what was going on in that place. And it's just a kind of a cool little story. Bomb by Edward Lee, another chapbook. This one's signed by Edward Lee. This one was good. It was kind of just okay. It wasn't a lot. I don't know. Wasn't a lot to it. I didn't think it was like absolutely incredible or anything. Andrew Vox, Drive By. I don't think, is this one signed? I don't think this one's signed. Yep. Oh, psych, it is. Signed by Andrew Vox, Joe Lansdale, and Neil Barrett Jr. This one has a lot of graphic artistry in it. And I believe Andrew Vox was like, he did a lot of inner city work and stuff like that. So this is a story, like, I don't know, a kind of hypothetical ghetto drive-by type story, and what happens, you know, in that situation. And it was kind of cool, a good little, you know, twist type thing to it. But the dialogue was extremely cheesy, like extremely cheesy. I'm like, dude, I grew up in like the Bay Area. This is not how anybody talks ever. So I thought it was kind of like a little hard to read at at times there. Ed Lee, again, Kill the Enemy. This one's pretty cool. Has to do with a trapped prisoner of war. It was enjoyable. We read for our buddy reads on Discord, Flow My Tears, The Policeman Said. This is my first Philip K. Dick that I've read, and it was pretty good. It was a little weird, and obviously there were some things in it that I was like, I'm not quite following what's happening here, but it was I don't know, it was enjoyable. It wasn't boring. Didn't slow down and bog down and be like bloated with all kinds of other garbage. It was just a little bit like, I don't know, I was just confused at certain points. And it, I mean, it really helps that someone had written I eat farts on the bottom and on the fly leaf there. So it really, I mean, it made the book even better. Titan Boa by Shigeru Brody. And this is just another monster, like creature feature type story. Super good, little independent published one. And it was just fun about a Titan Boa. So speaks for itself. I also read Charlie and the Choo Choo. This is the hardcover children's story based on the stories in the Dark Tower that was read. And so this one was good. Also, it's just a little kid's book though, so it was quick and easy. Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. I was really hoping this would be good. It was not. Okay, Sin City graphic novel by Frank Miller. This was just a fun read, you know, graphic novel stuff. I love the movie Sin City, so I enjoyed reading it. Dark Harvest by Norman Partridge. This one was super fun. I actually really liked this one a lot. I started the movie when I was on lunch break one day and I watched like 30 minutes of the movie, and it was kind of fun. I did feel like this was rushed and a lot of stuff wasn't explained that should have been, that would have helped it be even better, but it was still a fun little read, perfect for like Halloween time, things like that. I read The Businessman by Thomas Dish. This is first in the Supernatural Minnesota series. There's 4 of them. And this one was just okay. I like Dish, but he has some weird ideas sometimes. And this one was weird ideas about the afterlife. And trying to solve a murder in the afterlife kind of thing. I don't know. He had some twisted ideas about religion and God and what happens when you die and things like that. And he I think he had a really a rough upbringing with that stuff, and kind of it left a mark on him. And really, he had some jaded, um, ignorant ideas about it. So that one had a lot of that in it, so it was a little harder to read. Okay. Ooh. I also read Event Horizon, the movie tie-in. It's just like the movie, so super enjoyable. The movie's fantastic, one of my favorites. I read The Long Walk finally, and so I have read Rage and The Long Walk. I need to read Roadwork, and what's the other one in there? I forget, but Long Walk was really good, super enjoyable. Just kind of the idea is so creepy. That was a good one. Something Wicked This Way Comes by Bradbury. This one was really good too. It did remind me a lot of Nosferatu. In like just in certain aspects of it that were going on. So I enjoyed Nosferatu more though. So that one was good. Simax City I finally read. This one has the ninth part in it. So the extra edition that was written later on. And it was really enjoyable. I liked it. There was a couple of them where I was like a little bit confused because they're taken from different magazines that were written. So each one was written for a different magazine throughout the years, and then they were put into a story collection with kind of narrations in between. And it was really good, but I think some of them kind of were just different and didn't really fit. So, but all in all, it was good. Out of the Silent Planet, C.S. Lewis. This one's pretty good. I didn't love it though. Maybe if I read the other two, I will. But it was enjoyable, but it wasn't like a favorite of mine. Delaney's Einstein Intersection. I didn't really like that, so I don't know if I've read other Delaney's, but I'm not super impressed with Delaney stuff. We also read this for Buddy Read on Discord, and this is Traveling Vampire Show, and I have a bunch of dog hair in it because their hair gets everywhere. So Traveling Vampire Show, Richard Lehman. This one was really good. Can't remember how many Lehman books I've read so far. I always mix up Lehman and Ketchum for some weird reason. I just can't separate their books out into two different people. They all lump into one. Anyways, Traveling Vampire Show is pretty good. He writes coming of age boy, teenage boy type stuff, teenage girl type stuff really well. It is super, super horny, super pervy, and it's a good read, but you'll have to, I don't know, don't think I've ever read about so many boners in my life. So that's in there a lot, and that's just kind of crazy. So I also read the novelization of The Thing. This one was awesome too. If you love The Thing and you love everything, I'm wearing The Thing shirt right now. I didn't even realize. If you love The Thing or Who Goes There by John Campbell, you'll need to read this at some point. Yeah, it's very similar to the movie, John Carpenter movie, but it is very, it's just very detailed and really enjoyable read anyway. So if you've never watched the movie, why? But you could read that and then go watch the movie. Slimer by Harry Adam Knight. This one was really fun. Harry Adam Knight wrote a lot of great stuff. I really enjoyed this one. It has to do with like a genetically modified thing that is sort of, sort of a monster type thing, but it takes place on an oil rig, which is like the coolest setting ever, and I really enjoyed it. It was one of my favorite reads this year. I also read back to back like an idiot, Let's Go Play at the Adams and The Girl Next Door. These both are very twisted. They're based loosely on true events that happened. This one is more, and this one's supposedly based on, kind of on the book and taken in a different direction. This one was easier to read, much easier to read. It was still there was a lot of like horrific torture type things in it, but this one was much harder to read because in this one the kids are doing the torture to the teenager, young adult, and in this one the kids are being tortured by the adults. So that made it harder because it's just sickening to think that a human would do that to a child, and it made me want to reach in the book and rip this person's throat out and bludgeon them. So yeah, I don't like child abuse or taking advantage of somebody like that and hurting them. It was a hard read for that kind of thing. It wasn't like horror, like where I was like scared or afraid or something like that. It was just like more like anger, like, oh, he wrote it so well that you could feel everything, and you just wanted to I just want to choke you right now. So anyway, sorry, that escalated quickly. All right, Death Spore by Harry Adam Knight. So another Harry Adam Knight. This one is also known as The Fungus, and it is really good, super good. Just an enjoyable end of kind of world type story. It reminded me a little bit of like Blood Work or Blood Work. Why do I always do that? Blood Music, or like Genocides or something like that, where something takes over and people are trying to survive, kind of thing. That was fun. All right, last little stack here. Here we go. Dark World by Henry Kuttner. Definitely not my style. Fantasy, dark fantasy. It was okay. I'm sure someone who loves that kind of stuff would love this book, because I believe it's one of the firsts. Orca by Arthur Herzog. This one was fun. It was a good old school 80s horror, and the it's like a Jaws, orca, killer. All those ones are lumped into this massive sea creature that takes vengeance on humans and wants to kill everybody. And then Womb by Duncan Ralston. Of the newer extreme horrors, this one wasn't so bad. It was kind of had a plot and an idea and a story to it. There are very unbelievable, unplausible acts that go on in it. It's like, it just doesn't, the stuff that happens, you're like, what? Like, that is so stupid, because it would never, ever, 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 ever be able to happen. So it makes it so unbelievable that it's not enjoyable. So I wish that extreme wouldn't do that. I wish it would just be like terrifying, or do things that were like horrific but still plausible. Like, it's just when it stretches beyond like the actual like possibility factor, like completely improbable, it's like, okay, give me a break, this is stupid. So but all in all, that one wasn't too bad. And I read The Visitors by Clifford Simak. This one was pretty darn good. I felt like it needed more also, so I was a little, or cut out some of it and add some other aspect to it that helps further it along. He writes really well. His writing style is super good and enjoyable, and writes like small town life really well, things like that. So, and then finally, Old Yeller by Fred Gibson. My goodness, I forgot how good this book is. I loved it. I loved every bit of it. I'm so glad that they made the Disney classic. It's so fun to read this and be thinking about little Arliss or something running around like, hey, my dog, and he's running around all just amped up. That little actor did so freaking good. Just all in all, the movie's amazing and the book's amazing. And if you've never read Old Yeller, go get a copy and do it today. That's it. That's all for. I'm quickly going to share what I've read over the past few months, a 45-minute video. Cool. I was literally thinking I could do this in like 10, 15 minutes. Not even close. So I'm going to try and get more videos out. This is why it takes me so long. I'm going to try and get more videos out to you here soon, and I will try to update you sooner on what I'm reading so that it doesn't end up being crazy, crazy long. All right. Appreciate you guys. I'm going to shut up now, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.